I've been trying to come up with a list of the dumb things I said in college to tell you here, but I can't. It's too long. Dumb is even putting it mildly. I entered college as a privileged white girl, nominally liberal, from a major metropolitan area, whose experience with politics extended to, should I tell people I'm Canadian? When I visited Europe in the months after we entered the war in Afghanistan. I thought I had opinions. I really did. But a significant number of them were, shall we say, uninformed. I truly shudder to think what I would have said about systemic racism had I been asked to opine on the topic in my African American history class in college, which was incidentally taught by the incredible Cornel West himself. I'm not saying I would have argued against the presence of systemic racism in our society, but chances are I would have said something hovering in between ignorant and offensive, simply because I was 18 and I didn't know what I was talking about. I thought I did, which is okay. I mean, isn't that what college is for? To give voice to your opinions, to hear differing opinions presented by others, and to allow your world perspective to grow accordingly. Alas, that's not the experience that many of today's college students are getting. When I speak with friends who have college-age students, one fascinating and troubling through line that emerges is this: the kids are afraid to talk. They're afraid that if they put their thoughts the wrong way, use a word, for example, that isn't the most recently acceptable word for a minority or an LGBTQ person, and you do have to admit the vernacular is rapidly evolving in this realm, they'll be mocked, or, worse, openly canceled. It's not even a liberal issue or a conservative one. It's everywhere. Kids are afraid to challenge their peers in the very spaces that exist to foster those uncomfortable discussions. Evidence supporting these fears is everywhere. Just last year, a University of Rochester professor was suspended after quoting from a text that contained a racial slur. And an MIT speaker was canceled from their appearance because they openly criticized inclusion initiatives. Since 2019, state legislators have introduced nearly 100 bills aimed at protecting free speech on campus. But all is not lost, despite the alarm ringing by pundits on both sides. Increasingly, independent groups that encourage civil open dialogue are popping up on campuses all over the country, giving students a relatively safe space to explore the balance between free speech and inclusivity. Some of these groups even elect co-presidents with differing political ideologies. As an example, a dialogue club at the University of Michigan called We Listen meets a few times a semester to discuss issues such as drug legalization and criminal justice reform. They even send out both nonpartisan and bipartisan talking points to the members in advance of the discussion. Sure, the discussions become uncomfortable at times, but is that a bad thing? Our nation has become so divided along partisan lines that it's become difficult to have even the most fundamentally constructive conversation with someone from the other side.
You listen to him! There's hundreds of them! You cannot win! Let them speak! Let them speak!
We've developed knee-jerk reactions to differing opinions that border on the hostile. So it's heartening to see that the next generation has actively pinpointed the problem and is taking concrete, valuable steps to rectify it. The kids, it seems, may be all right after all.